Hey, I'm Jason from bowhuntingroad.com. We're about 2 weeks from the official start of summer. So something I like to do is get out and freshen up my mineral sites. It's perfectly legal in Ohio to hunt over bait on public land, so that includes mineral sites or corn. And I know some states they do not allow you to hunt, and you have to be so far away, but it is legal here. I usually mostly as an attractant to monitor deer in a certain area. Basically, it just allows the deer to pause momentarily long enough for you to get a good detailed picture of what's in the area. And besides the fact of just monitoring and seeing what's around, it's also good for it provides some benefit to the deer. I'm not a biologist, so I couldn't go into detail, but some of the supplements on the market today provide good nutrition for antler growth and also for nursing does. The place I've chosen today is a place I found in the spring. This is going to be a new site, so there's a couple steps I like to go through that I want to show that I've had pretty good luck with in the past. One of the most important things I have when I'm doing my minerals is a hard tine rake or tater rake, whatever you want to call it. I'll show you why this is kind of important especially when you're starting a new site. It's kind of a key tool. I like to carry it sometimes while walking out because it helps me clear trails and stuff like that. So another thing I like to do that it's kind of I don't say it's proven, but I like to get an old stump or an old log like this one here. I often joke sometimes when I get into a spot, it takes me longer to find an actual good piece of wood or stump that I want to use for my spot than it does actually put my minerals out. So today I drug this one 60-70 yards from up on the hill and fought with it, but it's I like to look for something that's not crumbly and soft, but it's got some rigidity to it, but it'll, in my opinion, what it does is you get more bang for your buck out of your mineral. And if it's a place you don't plan on visiting a lot, I think it acts like a sponge and it actually holds it. I actually have had deer that they'll literally they'll nibble these stumps down to hard wood. So you want to look for something that's kind of porous. Like I said, not too rotted, but this one's just right. It's good and stable and solid. So first step I do after finding an old stump or log or something, and I get it positioned or where I want it to be, is clear out an area. A lot of them recommend a 3 or 4 foot diameter area, and what you want to do, depending on where you live, is you want to clear all the debris out and you want to get down to the bare dirt. And then once you get down to the bare dirt, some like to dig holes, but I like to rake it up and make the ground soft. It's kind of hard here. This is pretty solid rocky ground, but I get as good as I can, and I give it a good, almost like you're doing a garden, kind of a good soil bed. So I'm going to do that now, and then we'll move on to the next step. So what I'm going to do first is, I decided this is, a spot I want. Ideally, it's not the best because it's still kind of slope, but there's 2 trails kind of coming through here, so I kind of wanted to split the 2, just so they get to using it real good. But yeah, that's one thing you want to avoid, is having it on a fairly steep incline, because a lot of your material will wash away. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to move this back out of the way and clear an area here so we can start and get work with. I like to kind of a circle, just clear all these old leaves and decaying material out of the way. Okay, well, I've got it pretty much where I want it to be now, so what I'm going to do now is I got it kind of loosened up. You can see it's pretty firm here, so I got pretty good loose on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and reposition my my stump or log back in the circle, and then we'll go to the next step, which will be dispersing the material. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one. I'm guessing this is 3 or 4 pounds of mineral. I'm going to just distribute it around on the ground, and then some on top of the on the stump. And then what I'm going to do is the material on the ground, I'm going to kind of lightly rake it into the dirt. That'll prevent, when deer do come, is they don't get all the material off the top first, and it doesn't necessarily get into the soil and create that condition that you want. What you want to do, you kind of rake it to where you can't really see it anymore, but yeah, it's blended with the soil. Okay, so you can see where I got it kind of placed on the stump, and then in the soil. I got it raked in, maybe a ½ an inch at the most, so should be good. This soil is a little moist, so it'll help hold it. So lastly, we're going to take our last little bit of mineral and just spread it all over on the ground, maybe a little bit more on the stump. So what will happen now is when it rains, if hopefully we get a light rain or a good moist morning, then it'll soak into this wood. So essentially this wood and the stump will act like a sponge and hold our material for us. Sometimes if I'm in an area where there's a little bit of an incline or slope, I'll put more on the higher end of the thing on my circle. That way, if it does, tend to wash down, it's going to wash across it instead of going from the low end and out. So I'll give it one little final kind of light raking. I still want it to be a little visible on top because, like I said, I want the aroma and the smell of this mineral to get out. It's a little breezy, overcast today, so hopefully we don't have any rain in the near future. That's another thing I don't like to do, especially a new site, if there's any chance of a heavy rain, because you're wanting deer to come in here and get accustomed to using the site, and if they can't smell it, then it just takes that much longer. Okay, we're in this is the area I shot my buck in last November. I came in here real quick to put up a covert camera, but I just wanted to show you what to expect when I talk about my personal experiences with mineral sites and the ways I do it. So I want to give you a look. Like I said, this area's got there's a main trail running through this little draw. And then there's a couple little intersecting trails that feed down in here. Those were already here before I even started this, and I think that's why it makes this such a good spot. I've seen places, in Iowa or in Illinois where they'll dig a hole a foot deep in the ground. We don't have that high of a deer density here, so you'll probably never see that. But this place gets used pretty well, even in the winter time. I get a lot of deer at this spot. I think it becomes kind of a communal, kind of like a greeting area, like your local bar. But again, I'm not a biologist, my theory. So but yeah, you can see right here behind me, that used to be that was a root ball on that tree, and this spot is only about a year old. I put it in like last June or July. I had another spot about a ½ a mile from here. It wasn't getting much use out of it, so I decided to come down in here and take a look, and obviously it paid off. But you could see the tree itself is actually pretty well chewed down, and it's a lot of tracks and signs. So anyways, that's what you expect. So I hope you could use some of this information and have some luck this summer during your scouting. Thanks for watching.